Ready?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Welcome to the Voncast show. Today I got Tenacity, man. How's it going, bro?
What's up, man?
Chilling. Happy belated birthday.
Appreciate it.
Cool. This is the 50th episode, man. So
Nice.
it's kind of big. So for those of you who don't know, give us an intro who you are. You can flex your music credits and stuff.
I'm Tenacity. I'm an audio engineer and rapper from Ann Arbor, Michigan originally,
Okay.
but now in LA for the past 12 years.
Mhm.
Chasing this dream, you know?
Nice, nice, cool. So take it back, Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's obviously Michigan, Detroit. Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, yep.
What was it like growing up there?
It was cool. It's a college town, so it's a lot of diversity, a lot different than most of the state of Michigan, where it's a lot of woods and
Yeah.
rednecks and stuff
Right.
like that. But yeah, it was cool, man. Super chill, big music scene. Went to
Okay.
school with a bunch of musicians, and it was cool. It's like a positive place to grow up for sure.
Nice. I ask this anytime anyone says they're from Michigan. You're gonna know what I'm gonna ask. Have you been to 8 Mile?
I have, yeah. It's different. The movie makes it different than it actually is.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's chill over there.
Mm-hmm. How are you as a student? Like, did you like going to school or not so much?
Going to school, like when I was going to high school, I wasn't really into it. But once I went to music school and was going to school for something I was actually passionate about, I was getting straight A's and looking forward to going to school every day. So
Right. So you went to music school.
yeah,
Man, so you went to high school. How was that experience? Was it cool?
it was cool. I mean, a lot of skipping class and
Right.
doing stupid stuff kids shouldn't be doing. But
Right. Right. Is that when you got into hip hop in high
yeah,
school?
yeah, definitely. I've always been a fan of hip hop.
Mhm.
My uncle's like 13 years older than me, so like he was always babysitting me when I was growing up, and he
Right.
listened to old school hip hop, and so I've always been a fan of it. But I really got into it, doing it myself when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm. What was your first exposure to hip hop? Like, was it like breakdancing, graffiti, or music?
It was just music, like Eazy-E and Too Short, like super old school gangster rap. My uncle did a little bit of breakdancing and stuff,
Mhm.
but it was mainly just listening to tapes, going to the mall and buying tapes, and just reading the credits of tapes and finding other artists that you want to listen to, and just kind of becoming a collector of cassettes, like at a young age.
Right. Yeah, man. I remember back then. I wasn't there when cassettes but CDs were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sometimes you really couldn't tell what a CD sounded like. There was no internet. There was no YouTube. I kind of judged it off how cool the cover looked.
Yeah, for sure. Same here, man.
And you couldn't tell, man. Like, it could be a super cool cover, but it'd be
Trash album.
cool cover and like the booklet and stuff. Yeah, man. So you got into it, like you said, high school. Did you that's when you started rapping first?
That's when I
or-
started rapping, yeah. I played drums for 12 years. Like, that was my first introduction to music. I started playing drums when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And that's what got me into, meeting other musicians and stuff like that. And then once I went to high school, I met a bunch of people that were rapping, and I had always loved rap. So it was just like, let's do this. you
Yeah.
know, So
Were you more of the writing type or freestyling or both?
a lot of freestyling in high school for sure. But I started writing as well. But it was a lot of like, hey, let's go freestyle, go to this party, and everybody freestyle and stuff like that. The good old days,
Yeah, man. I feel like I don't know. I don't think freestyle is it's not as appreciated as it was once back then.
Yeah, I feel like just the internet culture changed what a freestyle is. Like,
Right.
now it's just like a verse that's not used on a song.
Right.
To where my era is like freestyling is coming off the top of your head. you
Yeah.
know, So
Yeah, that was a big thing back then. There was like the scribble jams.
mm-hmm.
I mean, KOTD's obviously not off the top of the head.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, it was scribble jams, employees battles.
Yeah, man.
That's where Eminem got he won, right? No, Juice won.
Juice
right?
won,
Juice
yeah.
won. And I believe at some point, Idea. is where he
Yeah,
came from.
Idea was killing it up there. All those guys,
Mhm.
like Sage Francis,
Sage
and
Francis.
all of those kind of guys were always at those Scribble Jam events. I used to go when I was young, still living in Michigan.
Yeah, was it in
It'd be a
Michigan?
blast. Yeah, it was in Cincinnati, which is
Okay.
like 4 hours from Detroit.
Mhm.
So we'd get a group of us, go out there and drive and spend the day. And
Right.
It was dope, man.
Did you ever see that battle? It was Sage Francis versus 7L.
Mm-hmm.
It's on YouTube. Pretty funny.
I'll
Pretty
have to check it
interesting.
out.
Yeah, so that was cool culture, man. So, did you always go by Tenacity, or did you have a different rap name?
I had a different name when I first started rapping when I was young.
Yeah.
It was Scandalous.
Okay,
you know
that
what I
sounds.
mean?
Was it with a K and a Z?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course it was.
Yeah.
And then, I was sitting, my story about my name Tenacity is actually pretty interesting. Like, I was sitting with my mom one day, and I was like, I want to think of a rap name, like, better than Scanless, that's cheesy and played out. And my mom actually thought of Tenacity. She's like, what about Tenacity? And I was young, I didn't even know what the word meant.
Yeah.
And, like, I looked it up, I'm like, yo, that's dope.
It's like persevering, someone with persevering character?
Yeah, just someone that's a go-getter that, just,
Right.
thrives in a certain thing,
Nice. What rap, were you in rap groups? Or
I was in a rap group.
Like, was it Abolitionist Project?
Yeah, Abolitionist. So Abolitionist is like a group of a bunch of local rap artists, and we all graduated high school, and we're like, yo, why don't we all work together? And like that's when I first started engineering, was when I was working with those guys, and we started our own label and did everything independently. And it was dope, I'm still part of the Abolitionists technically. It's just, I'm out here and they're back there. And,
right.
A couple of them don't really do music as much anymore, but there's a few of them that are still touring and doing their own thing, which is really dope, man. There's like 9 of us total, so it was like a little miniature Wu-Tang or something, But,
nice. Yeah, I just find it interesting, like you grow up with your boys or girls or whoever, y'all grow up rapping, it's like over the years you see who like sticks to it. I mean, it's not a bad thing if you don't, but it's like, you love it so much, it's like, what happened? You were so good.
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly, that's, I have certain friends where I'm like, man, like, let me get you some beats.
Yeah.
I got people that make beats, and they're just like, oh, there's, people have kids, people get married, especially like I'm 36 now, so it's, a lot of my abolitionist friends are older than me, so it's like, I get it, they stayed in Michigan, I moved out here. It's a lot different in LA than it is in Michigan as far as, sticking to music and stuff, a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, I had got friends that were like way better rappers, and like, yo, why'd you stop, man? Like, I listened to old stuff, like, what happened?
Yeah.
You could have kept going.
For sure, man.
But I guess it just depends what you want to do in life, and that's cool,
Yeah.
So you went to college for music.
Yeah.
And then you moved out here. What made you want to move out here?
I moved out here to go to school.
Oh,
so
music
school out here.
Okay.
I went to the Los Angeles Recording School in
Hollywood.
Yeah.
I heard about that place.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. It was like learning from people that are actually in the game engineering. So it was like really cool. And at that time, I think it was 2007 when I was going there, 2007, 2008. And I was like one of the only rappers in there. So it was like when we had Pro Tools class, for example, the Pro Tools teacher was this cat named Tony Smalios, who is like a legend in underground hip hop, like did so much stuff in the 90s. You can Google him, it's like too much stuff to even say, but he kind of took me under his wing because he's like, this dude raps, you know what I mean? I'm a rap engineer, and that's the reason why I feel that I excelled like in Pro Tools, and having him as a mentor like really made me like hype about it. Like, oh man, like this dude, he thinks my mixes are good already. Like it was like, he could see the passion in me, you know what I mean? And it was really dope for me. And out of all my classmates, I keep in contact with a few of them. It's like none of them are really doing the engineering thing anymore because I feel they didn't have like a mentor like that,
Any Mayor Hawthorne stories?
I mean, we grew up in the same town. When I was just finishing school was when he was going off into his solo career, like signing his contract with Stone's Throw. And at that time I was doing a record for his rap group called Now On. So, yeah, I mean, I've worked with those guys a bunch. We kind of lost touch over the years. We weren't really super close back home. We used to do shows together back home all the time. But we never were like super close hanging out, the two of us or anything like that, But I still got mad love for that dude.
So you didn't move in here with it? You didn't move to LA with it?
No, I moved out like a year later than those guys.
Gotcha. So for those of you who haven't listened to your music yet, how would you describe your style?
My hip hop style?
Hip hop style, yeah.
I'd say it's, socially aware. I try to keep it positive as much as I can, even though a lot of the subjects I touch on are like dark subjects, government stuff.
Right.
I call it like thought provoking. I try to like make people think and try to say things that'll like take something negative and by the end of the rap, it's like, oh, I can look at it in a positive way because I can contribute positively to this negative thing. And,
Yeah, I mean, you got bars too. I was listening. It's like you're not as hot as a black pepper flake.
Yeah.
You're not on something on peppered steak, something on like a samurai sword blade.
Yeah,
it's like that. Reminds me of like that old school, like that freestyle battle, like those last couple words,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they rhyme as dope.
Yeah, man, I owe a lot of that to just growing up in the Detroit area, and like being a kid and going to these shows with, you know, people like Eminem and, you know, there's other artists, you know, like Guilty Simpson and
Guilty Simpson, yeah.
people like that. It's like those dudes are like the generation above me. So it was like I was just soaking all that up as a kid, you know, like too young to even really be in there, you know, but it was, I'm very thankful for that era of like just going, my parents letting me go to Detroit and like be a part of that stuff, you know. It was just like really dope.
Yeah, have you met anyone from like you know, D12 or Eminem?
Yeah, Proof, Big Proof. He always looked out for me, man. Like,
awesome.
I remember one of the craziest memories I have of like when I was first starting rapping is I was performing at this place called the Carbon Lounge or the Carbon something. It's in Hamtramck, Michigan, which is like a suburb of Detroit, like right next door to Detroit. And I was performing there. Proof was in the audience, and I think I was like maybe 19 or something at the time, maybe even younger. And like did my set. I did like 2 songs or something, and like he comes up and he's like, "Yo, man, like let me buy your CD." And I had my CD or whatever. It was actually a DVD of The Abolitionists, but I was like, "Oh, just take it, you know, you can have it." And he's like, "Nah, you know, forget that. Like I want to pay for it." And he gives me a $50 bill. I'm like, "Oh man, I don't have change." So he's like, "Hold up." He walks to the bar and gets change and like brings me back $10. He's like, "Here, man, keep doing your thing."
That's awesome.
And I thought that was so cool. At that time, you know, he's doing like Eminem's hype man stuff at the MTV Awards.
Right.
Yet he's like at the show, like telling me like, "No, I'm giving you $10, bro. Like
That's
keep
cool.
doing your thing." Yeah.
That's awesome. He gives back, and he was still.
Yeah, and I would run into him like years and years later, and like, you know, he was always just so cool, and so he remembered me all the time. You know what I mean? Which was like crazy. This dude's a celebrity, especially in the eyes of someone from Detroit. You know, it's like you see this dude on TV, and then you see him the next week at like the local bar, like just
That's
chilling.
dope.
Yeah, it was really dope, man.
So you came out here. I know you've worked with House Shoes. Who is that, and how'd you meet him?
Okay, so House Shoes is a legendary Detroit DJ. Basically like a backbone of the Detroit scene in the 90s, I would say. I mean, I was, like I said, I'm a little bit younger, so I wasn't really around those spots, but you know, he's just the dude that knows everybody, basically. He's like I call him a dot connector, because he just connects everybody, you know. He plays an important part in that. And you know, I met him in Michigan, but we didn't really, you know each other. And then I moved out here, and we just met through the scene, through like Mayor Hawthorne and all those guys, you know. And I'd be going to shows, and eventually, you know, he was working on putting out his own solo album, his first album, and he hit me up to do the engineering. And from there, we probably spent like a year on it, and we just became super tight homies. And you know, like a year or 2 later, he started his own label and asked me, like, you know, would you be willing to like be part of the team, like be the engineer? And it was me, him, and this guy Dirk was the artwork guy, and it was just the 3 of us. And now it's 2018, about to be 2019, and we just released the 50th record on the label.
50th record.
50th record.
Wow.
So it's super dope, man. I'm very happy to be a part of that. And House Shoes is the man, you know. Like he always looks out, and very thankful for that dude. He's put me up. He's put me up on different scenarios in my career and introduced me to people that, you know, have got me to where I'm at now.
So, speaking of back on Detroit, there's one artist I want to talk about, J Electronica.
Okay.
Right? I heard, it's true, you were an engineer for one of his projects?
Yeah, so that's because of House Shoes, actually. One day, me and Shoes are just chilling in my crib, and he's like, "Yo, somebody's coming over, but I'm not gonna tell you who it is." And I'm like, "You gotta tell me who it is. Like, bring someone to my house." He's like, "Nah, like, just wait, you'll see." And then, you know, 20 minutes later, knock on the door, and it's J Electronica. And I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy." You know, he's kind of like a mystery man in hip hop. You know, no one really ever knows what he's doing and stuff. And he chilled. We weren't even working on any of his stuff. We were just working on some of House Shoes stuff. The Gift Volume 5 actually is a project we were working on at the time. And you know, session ends, everybody leaves, and then House Shoes texts me. He's like, "Yo, you're gonna get a call from a London phone number. It's J Elect. Like, he wants to hire you to do some of this stuff."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, long story short, I can't talk too much about that. Long story short, you know, like Jay came through. We spent like a week together and recorded a bunch of joints for his album that everyone's, you know, when's the album dropping? Like the notorious J Elect album. And I recorded a lot of that. And you know, he told me even when we were recording, he's like, I have like 20 different versions of this album. I'm just trying to find which engineer I work with the best. And it it was like a blessing to just chill with that dude.
That's
He
awesome.
put me up on so much game and just like,
Mm.
not even just music game, just like how to be like a good human. Like that dude's just like a really chill, spiritual dude. You know what I mean? It was like definitely life changing chilling
Right.
with that dude for a week. You know?
Can you enlighten us with any of this good human stuff?
Yeah, I mean, just just sitting around talking about like, just how he was telling me, he's like, I don't care about like the rap game. That's why I'm over here at your house. He's like, I'd rather be recording in your living room than sitting in some $1 million studio with a bunch of guys with suits watching me. Like that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is building relationships and just being true to yourself and letting other people see that you're a true human being, so maybe they can find that inside themselves. And,
Right.
just
Interesting.
kind of on some like hippie shit a little bit, but like, super dope.
Right. Speaking of J's, man, we have a mutual friend, J57.
J57.
J57. How did you meet him?
We met through actually Homeboy Sandman.
Okay.
So I was doing some work for Stone's Throw at the time,
Mm.
and I think I had done a joint, or J57 and I were featured on a Transformer beat together, or something
Okay.
like that. Like I can't really remember. This was like 2012 or something. And Homeboy Sandman comes through to record, and I noticed that one of the beats he was recording on was a J57 beat.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh man, like I know that name, blah, blah, blah. So he kind of like linked us together. I think he might have texted Jay or emailed Jay, like, yo, I'm over at Tenacity's crib, blah, blah, blah. And then from there, Jay and I just started working, and I think I mixed like a couple of his joints or something, or maybe we rapped together on some songs, and from there it was just like best homie ever.
That's
That's
dope.
my twin right there. Shout out to J57.
Twin Dracos.
Yes, the
Yeah.
twinny life.
Yeah, man. I think I looked through my Facebook messages. 6 years ago today, I asked him, like, hey, what does this mean on like one of the songs?
Mm-hmm.
It became cool from there, just texting him, hey, like messaging him like about his music and stuff, and yeah, I work for him now.
Yeah, he's one of the most genuine people. I've met a lot of people in this industry, and he's like one of the just nicest, realest, hardworking. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta admire his work
Yeah.
ethic. I mean,
Definitely.
I've worked on hundreds of joints for him through over the years, and a lot of them haven't even come out yet. So I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
damn, this dude's probably got so much stuff.
Right. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think I ran into his music because I was big into the battle scene.
Okay.
I was watching a lot of SoulCon battles.
Yeah. Yep.
And YouTube recommended, oh, check out Brown Bag All Stars. Days
Mhm.
Turn to Night. After I saw that, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
To me, it was the year 2012. I was still like stuck in like I was still into like very traditional like boom bap New York rap, and
Mhm.
that was kind of slowly almost fading. I was like, wow, this is like the last like bastion of like this is like it. You had a few good dope MCs, different styles on dope beats, and I was like, wow, this is it.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's how I kind of got to know them. So what's it like? I mean, like I rap too, but like you learn how to rap over time and process. What's the process of like mixing a song? How you got into it? Like what made you want to become an engineer?
All right. So, my uncle used to be like a wedding singer
Mhm.
way back in the day. Like,
Adam Sandler?
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's my mom's older brother, so it's a different uncle than the uncle that put me into hip hop.
Right.
And when I first started playing in my bands and stuff, playing drums, he had this recording equipment. He had a 4-track Tascam tape recorder, and he just gave it to me. He's like, I'm done with my wedding stuff or whatever. You can take this. He gave me a mic, he gave me the recorder, and then like he gave me like a reel-to-reel recorder. And I was young, man. I was like 7th grade or something, and I was just so intrigued by it, and like just grew up from there, just like wanting to keep recording stuff. And I would get more and more equipment. Like the piece of gear I bought next was like a mini disc 4-track recorder,
Mhm.
and then from there I bought like a 16-track hard disc recorder, which I had for years until I went to school out here, and now I'm strictly Pro Tools. But I was just fascinated with like sound and like
Mhm.
learning just techniques, man. I'm just like super nerdy about it.
Right,
It's
right.
like
Yeah, I just know the basics. I mean, like I know what compression does. I tried to use what do they use? Logic? No, there's Logic Logic or Pro Tools, and I'm like, dude, this is so much. Like it's one thing to like learn just know how to rap, but like to know the science behind, having like an ear for sound, sonics, and like audio. Dude, that's next level. I mean,
And it's crazy because like I learn every mix I do. I still learn something new. You know what I mean? Like even just working on a regular rap track, it's like everybody's voice is different. So, you know, like someone with a deep voice needs to be EQ'd differently than someone with a high voice, and it's just you just learn new stuff and you try new stuff out. And if the client likes it, then you're like, dope, I'm gonna try this on my next mix. Or if the client's like, oh, this is whack, you're like, oh, I'll never do that again. You know?
A lot of clients that you get, are they more like the traditional rap, or are they also like the newer age?
I got a couple clients right now that are like the newer age, like trappy. I mean, for lack of a better term, you know. I got a couple of clients like that, but most of the stuff I work on is like instrumental hip hop, you know, with street corner music, and yeah, I got a few Detroit rappers I work with, and some OGs hit me up occasionally.
Nice,
you know, like. A lot of people in LA, like if they don't have another place to record, they're like, can I come through last minute? You know what I mean? Chino XL, what up?
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, but you know, like just, yeah, it's cool, man. I like being able to like help other people make their music sound good. You know what I mean? It's like their music becomes a piece of me because it's like, I hear that, you know, I'm like, oh, that's my mix. Like I'll go out to like a bar or a club and someone's playing something I worked on. I'm like, yo, like I get hyped like it's my own song.
Right. Yeah, the last I heard of Chino XL, he was in that a couple years ago. It was like the Real Wolf Underworld 2.
Okay.
He was rapping on a verse. It was pretty dope.
Yeah, he's crazy, man. Like he's super dope. He's one of the people I looked up to as a kid, and I remember meeting him. Another house shoes connected me with him, and I was just like, man, this is like meeting like someone I've admired since I was like 8th grade or something, you know. And it's cool to call him a friend now, years later.
That's
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Who's Sunhammer?
Sunhammer is my man. His name's Jay. He was in the Abolitionists.
Okay.
He produced my first album, Tenacity and SA Blunt Raps. He's just a super dope cat, man. Like makes like electronic music. Right now he's making music for like movie trailers and stuff like that. And he's super talented, like musical genius. Like he understands the music theory, and just like awesome working with him because he knows all the stuff that I don't know. So like you put us together and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, there's such a big, deeper game than just like lyrics and rapping. I mean, there's like the engineering aspect and just making beats is just fascinating. I mean, like if you know more than one of those, your value goes up. I mean, when people hit you up for verses and also to mix your stuff, and you know, I think now more than ever, engineers are making money because there's so many more rappers now.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. So let's talk about your most recent project. I believe it's called Discussions.
Yeah, yeah.
Really dug that one. Can you tell us what that was about and who produced it with you?
Yeah, so that was D.R.U.G.S Beats. He's an artist on street corner music. We had worked together before. Like I had mastered some records for him, and I don't remember whether I hit him up or he hit me up, but it was like a 3-year process since when we first got started on this. And yeah, I don't know. I found like I really liked the way my voice sounded over his beats, like sonically, and I liked just the way I was able to ride the beat. It was super boom bappy, but like I don't know, just dope and like grimy. Like I like my beats to be like, you know, like hard. You know?
Like a Mobb Deep kind of.
Yeah, like that. That's a good comparison. Like that kind of stuff. Like
New York, 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, like super hard snare drums. You know what I mean? And with still like a little bit of Detroit in it. You know. But yeah, we started working on that, and I just remember like I wrote like half of it, and then I was like, oh man, like I don't know how I'm feeling about this, and then just hit this like stride where I wrote like 5 songs in a week and was just like, all right, we're gonna put this out, you know. And
yeah, I like that we talked about, you know, from a different perspective, like, you know, sexual harassment in the workplace, women. That's pretty cool. I'm sure there's a lot of hip hop that speaks on that, but heard yours first. That's pretty dope, man.
Thank you, man.
Respect. It's, you know,
and that goes back to what you asked earlier about like what my music's about.
Right.
It's about that. It's about issues where it's like, you know, like what no one talks about how fucked up sexual harassment is. Like, I'm gonna write about it because I have a girlfriend, I have a little sister, I have friends, you know, that get sexually harassed, and it's like, you know, I write about it in a way where it's like bullying the sexual harasser, you know, like turning it around on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's pretty cool. I definitely respected that. I think I showed that to my friend who went here, and she was part of this group called Project Date, which raises awareness about sexual harassment, date rape and stuff. So she really liked that part. I showed that to her. That's really awesome. That's really cool. That's pretty dope, man. So what's your writing process? Do you even write, or do you just do the whole Jay-Z method where you just off the top?
It depends. Like a lot of the time, I'll sit down. I write on my phone, like in the notes
Same.
app, you know.
Yeah.
It just depends, man. Like if I'm really in the vibe, then I'll just like turn the mic on because I record myself. So
Right.
that's the one benefit I have over a lot of like MCs is I got the studio in my living room.
Yeah.
Just, let's go, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm really feeling the beat, I'll hit record and just just start going at it and stop punching, like, you know. But for the stuff on discussions, I actually sat down and like wrote it all out and planned it and.
Does your cat ever bother you, Onyx, when you
Oh,
record?
dude, he gets so jealous when I record.
Really?
It's like, it's annoying because like most of the time I'm just chilling, trying to get him to like, hey, come cuddle with me and stuff.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I sit in that recording chair, whether I'm recording or whether I'm just there like mixing or whether I'm checking my email, it's like as soon as I'm in that chair, he's like all needy and jealous. And so when I'm recording myself, it's like I'll always hear him in the background like meowing. I'm like, God, this guy, you know what I mean? Like,
If someone listened to your music close enough, could you hear the meowing maybe?
probably. I bet you there's a couple acapellas on discussions where you could like hear him in the background.
Damn, that must be tough.
Yeah, it's like,
It's tough.
yeah.
So that's a cool setup you have there. I mean, like, does traffic ever get in the way? Like,
it does. That's, like, when I record, like, the final drafts, I'll normally have someone else come in and hit record, and I'll put the mic in a less loud part of the room. But, like, when I'm just building or whatever, like, I just have the mic right there. And I do live off, like, the main street in Glendale, so it's, it's a lot of traffic. But, once it gets past, like, 7, 8 o'clock at night, there's no traffic, really, so I'll just bang it out,
Man, not gonna say where you live, but damn, when I saw that, I'm like, you live there? I used to live in Eagle Rock. I used to walk to, like, Glendale sometimes, or just live in Glendale. Well, not living there, but, like, hang out with my friends. My aunt was there. So we were, like, in Hoover. We lived by Hoover, but she lived closer to the different high school. But, like, you live right there?
Yeah, man.
The whole time? Like, what the... Yeah, so it's interesting. Glendale's a cool place. I remember the Beeline used to be 25 cents. Now it's a lot more.
Wow.
I remember now just so many cars and people because of the Americana.
Yeah, for sure.
Hella gentrified now.
It is.
It's very ridiculous.
Like, my rent's gone up a few times since I've lived there. I'm like, man, this will probably be my last year there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you live, like, in a prime spot, like, right there. Yeah, man. I don't know how people live at those complexes above Americana.
Oh, I was just at the Americana on Monday.
Yeah.
I went to like a birthday lunch with some of my friends, and we were talking about that. We're like looking up there, like, how could you live here?
Like you can't. Like,
you would hate people so much. Just
definitely.
Like, yeah.
I mean, you get them there for long term, maybe like a year or two, or like a few months, but the noise and the people.
Yeah.
You walk down your escalator, all these fucking people in there.
Like trying to find parking at your own building, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
man.
Jesus.
I don't know how people do it. I don't know why people, I guess it's like a flex. Oh, I live above.
Yeah.
You can take selfies right below.
Yeah, exactly.
Right below, but
it's gotta be so expensive too, man.
My God. Jeez. Any other projects you're working on?
Right now my plate's pretty clear actually, man. I'm just kind of doing like one and done jobs. I'm working on Transformers' new EP.
Oh.
He just sent me that, so I'll probably have that done by like next week or something. I've been working on a lot of Kataya's new stuff.
Nice.
We did like 2 or 3 projects that he's just starting to release now, or release joints from.
His Tailspin video is dope.
Yep. We did that joint a couple months ago. I mixed that one.
Okay. Very well.
And nothing really crazy though. A couple street corner music releases just came out that I did, but it's kind of slow,
Right. Any advice you have for people who want to rap, who want to start rapping? I know you and I were a little older. We came up where learning how to rap is a lot different. Like back then, there was no YouTube. I think the only internet thing back then was forums.
For sure.
SoundClick.
Like Napster.
Yeah. But there was no tutorials, man. Like, any advice you can offer to someone who wants to rap these days?
I'd say just find, some rappers that you really like and just study the craft, you know what I mean? Like, don't bite, but at the same time, like, don't be afraid to, like, look at their cadences and try to form your own sentences and your own thoughts based around their cadences or around their flow or whatever, and then from there, turn it into your own,
Yeah. I had the toughest time. I was so guilty of this, and I felt bad that, like, when it just started, whichever artist I listened to, I would like mimic their style
Mm-hmm.
and their like flow, and like I couldn't help it because it's all I knew.
Yeah.
You know, like I listened to a lot of old Lil Wayne. I'd rap what he rapped about.
Mm-hmm.
Then I listened to like the Blueprint. I rapped like that. Listened to nonfiction. I got super dark.
Oh yeah.
Man, like.
I used to listen to a lot of nonfiction.
Dude, okay, nonfiction. Yeah, I was so bummed out when they broke up.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god, man! Like they were. I mean, they're. I don't.
I think they're back together now. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I hear like they perform together. I don't know if they make new music, but
Yeah, yeah.
fuck, man! I remember first time I heard about him. I was at Tower Records in Glendale. It was still Tower Records then, and I saw Necro's compilation. It was like Brutality compilation 1.
Okay.
The cover art fucked me up. I was just staring at it like, what?
Yeah, Necro was crazy, man.
Have you met him?
I've never met him.
Yeah.
I think J57's met him.
I thought it was stories. But I was just like, what the fuck is this? And I listened to it, I'm like, what is, like, I was
Mhm.
blown away. And then my friend put me on nonfiction. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of that kind of rap before.
Yeah, man. Like, there's Ill Bill is crazy, especially back then. Like,
Yeah.
the Future Is Now album or whatever.
It's
Like,
classic.
yo, so good.
Yeah. That. Sabakshir was good. I would say, I was going to ask, like, you know, in a group, I would say you're more like the Sabakshir, talking about
Mhm.
like political stuff and economic stuff and government stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was dope. Gorchak's Art of Dying was pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's trippy, man? Like, I can't find Art of Dying on iTunes. I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder why.
That's some,
Yeah.
that's some political shit
Yeah.
right there for you, right?
Yeah, but yeah, man, they were just so dope. And when I found out through the forums.
Okay, cool.
How'd you find out they broke
I
up?
found out about all that stuff through like Napster, man. There was this cat, my man Dave Merriquin, shout out Dave Merriquin. He actually owns a label called Vanity Press Records back in Detroit. But he was the man in high school who like had like, you know, the fast internet. He would
Internet.
He would download like all
Ooh.
sorts of joints off Napster and just be making mix CDs for all of us. And like, that's how I found out about Necro, found out
Yeah.
about all of that stuff. And then
Yeah.
my man Sunhammer worked at a record store called Discount Records back in Ann Arbor, and he would know about all sorts of shit because they get like the promo cassettes and the promo CDs that, you know, give them out for free at the record store. So he put me onto tons of shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was, to me, like, that was intense. There's Q Unique,
Mm-hmm.
all those guys, man. Like, Psychological Records, Mr. Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
Shit blew my mind, man. It was so like brutal and like just
Different.
different. It was super different, and yeah, I was super into that. And you know, I now know there's Heavy Metal Kings.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
Oh, so that's Vinny Paz
Okay.
and Ill Bill.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, they have a couple of records, two albums out. The second one had a lot of Gore-Tex. I heard Gore-Tex got sued by the company Gore-Tex.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. He changed his name to Super Coven for a minute.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
But I was like, man, how you gonna? The same thing with Smith and Wesson, right?
I did hear
Brothers.
about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But let's see, how do we get into Necro and all that?
I don't know.
Yeah. I was super in that mode.
Just hip hop, you know?
Yeah, hip hop, man.
And those dudes are like rarely mentioned. It's like Vinny Paz, it's like, he's been around for a long ass
Yeah.
time. You know, like I remember opening up for Jedi Mind Tricks when I was like 20.
Dude.
And they were like popping hard as hell back then, and
Talk
they're
about
still
that.
doing it. Yeah, just so there's this venue called the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor where it's like, it's a college town, so like when people are on tour and they're not gonna hit Detroit, they'll hit Ann Arbor for like the college kids, and I was just always like the opener for that shit, you know.
Right.
I was just I knew one of the promoters there, and like I just, you know, we were just that local group. Us and Binary Star was another group that would be opening and stuff, and Athletic Mike League, which is Mayor Hawthorne's group. You know, it was like the three of our groups were like the openers for all these bigger acts that were touring, you know. And I did a couple dope shows up there, opening up for some dudes.
Thank you for reminding me of Binary Star. I completely fucking forgot. They're from Detroit or Michigan.
Pontiac, Michigan. Yeah.
Dude, okay, so it's One Below and Salmonella?
Sanam Silla.
Dude, okay. That album has to be like up there. I mean,
Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe, man. Okay, like I would say I would have rated them where most Def and Tyler probably were at with Black Star.
Yeah, man.
I mean, lyric wise, like I mean, they didn't have the same commercial success, but they were just known. Like,
yeah, One Below is like one of the cats that helped me a lot in my younger years,
really?
man. Like, I did this battle. I was still in high school, and I think he was either a judge or he was just in the crowd. And he's like, "Yo, like you were fucking ill. Like you're gonna open up for me at all these shows and shit." And you know, I had lost touch with him for years. And then I saw him like a couple weeks ago at the Fat Beats opening.
Oh shit!
And it was like, yo, like seeing him was like, he saw me, I saw him, it was like, oh shit, you know, like family reunion. It was great to see that dude, man. He definitely looked out for me a lot when I was a kid, you know. Super appreciative of that.
Yeah, there was, I think it was year 2002, 2003. He said I was on you saw it Napster, I was on LimeWire. There's all those other ones that like got, Napster was the first one, and then there was like Azurus, LimeWire, that shit fucked up your computer.
Yeah, LimeWire would destroy your computer.
Dude, you got STDs, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Like, if you were naive enough to download something that's like .exe, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're done.
But yeah, man, I think my favorite One Below, or was it Black Star song? It was a bunch of people in it. It was like it had like a Russian theme to it.
Oh yeah, the KGB. Elzai was on that. A bunch of cats are on that. Yeah.
I didn't even know like Elzai was on that. That's right. Okay, Elzai too, man. He's dope. I mean, Slum Village. I downloaded Lead Poison.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, Elzai is definitely underrated as fuck.
Yeah, he's dope as fuck, man. He's one of the illest.
Yeah, dude, the KGB song was dope. What's that other one? Like I think Bruce Lee was a sample in the beginning. Talking about water and like.
Waterworld or something?
It was something about like fake rappers. It was like.
Damn, I don't know.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's been years.
Black Star. No, Black
Binary Star.
Binary. Damn, I'm tripping. Yeah. Binary Star. But yeah, this album was just. I couldn't even download the whole album. You had to download each song one by one. Wait, that's actual Binary Star album. But yeah, dude, that Posse cut. I tried to rap like them for the longest time. Which one was that one? I think it was. I think it might have been Reality Check.
Yeah, that's the first joint. Yeah, One Below kills that verse.
One Below is
one of the hardest verses.
Like all of these songs here were just all good.
It's just good hip hop, man. It's like fucking
yeah.
Juice
is from Chicago, but Juice fucking him and Supernatural.
Yeah, man.
Like I like Supernatural. They're both dope, but I like Juice's like style, like battle styles. Yeah.
Yeah, Juice was dope. He used to be around Ann Arbor a lot because of these guys. Like he'd be, you know, you just see him at a random party chilling. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Did anyone ever like challenge him to like battle?
I never saw any of that. I think they knew better.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know.
I would.
Like I said, I was still young, man. I couldn't even drink legally when I was doing all this stuff with these guys, you know.
Yeah, man. I miss the ciphers back then, like actual ciphers, people in a circle. Yeah,
good old days.
Yeah, man. It was. I mean, ciphers. There's still ciphers now, but something about like back then there was not as many rappers. And now a lot of times you hear the rappers like, oh, spit off the top of the dome. Oh, I don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I felt like, you know, freestyling was like a rite of passage. Like
yeah, it's like you don't have to be super dope at it. Just try it. You know, if you fuck up, you fuck up. Everybody fucks up freestyling. That's the thing. Like eventually you're gonna fuck up, unless you're super nat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like other than that, it's like everybody fucks up. It's like just try it, man. It's a sport. It's, you know, you don't make every shot you take when you play basketball. You know what I mean? So it's like.
There was something about that where back then if you claimed you were a rapper, you couldn't say, here's my SoundCloud, here's my MySpace. Yeah. No, let's rap right now. Say something, spit for something right now, or like talk about what's in the area. Yeah,
it's going to that SoundCloud stuff is like, you know, when I was coming up, it was like you had to press up CDs or records and send them out to DJs. It wasn't about, you couldn't just email a joint. We didn't know how to email stuff. We didn't have email like that back in the day, you know. Nowadays, it's just so easy, so congested, because it's like, oh, here's my SoundCloud link, which probably, I know a lot of my DJ friends are like, fuck your SoundCloud link, you know, like send me your song. Like, I'm not going to go through your SoundCloud and look for a song I like, you know, send me a professional email with your song, and I'll listen to it and decide if I'm gonna play it or not.
I like that professional email.
Yeah.
You can't just text like via email. Yes,
Yeah.
hey, my name is this and this. I do this and
It's
that.
like introduce yourself, like how you would introduce yourself to a human being. You know, these
Right.
DJs are people too. You know,
Right.
this is a business ultimately. So you know.
Yeah. All right, man. I think that's about it. Any shout outs?
Shout out J57, shout out House Shoes,
Mm.
shout out One Below.
Hey. Where can we find you on social media?
Social media, Twitter and Instagram is at Tenacity Music.
Mhm.
Facebook is Tenacity Hip Hop.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's it.
Cool. 2 last questions. Who's Arthur Manical?
Oh, that's that's just an inside joke between Jay and I. So
Okay.
J57 and I.
Uh,
So whenever we write emails, it's actually funny that we're just talking about professional emails, because whenever we write emails to each other, like we sign it with like a goofy last name and first name, and
gotcha.
that was one that stuck with us, Arthur Madical, because it rhymes with radical.
Oh, okay. Yeah, going to sabbatical.
Yeah, it's
Get your
pretty
bronze
silly.
clavicle.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. And then what is Crazy Girls?
Crazy Girls is a strip club in LA that we used to go to every time that Jay would come out to LA. And we stopped doing that because it's just a huge waste of time and waste of money. But yeah, that was like when we first started chilling. It was like, let's go to Crazy Girls. Years ago, you know.
And have you seen A Secret?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
You believe in it?
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
Me too. All right, I gotta say it again. Jay fed me a bunch of these questions. I don't know if you knew.
Cool, yeah, no, that's dope.
The Sunhammer thing, the Mayor Hawthorne, the last two.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yo, ask the last two last ones. He'll know you fed these questions. But all right, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
bro.
man. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man.